Hi guys, happy Witchy Wednesday. So, holy crap, this sickness is just not going away and I don't know why, but whatever, it's not the coronavirus. I hope not anyway, because it is in northern Indiana now and that's pretty fucking scary. Alright, so I was doing a lot of research and thinking about the clan of Tubal Cain, and I really love it, and I started to listen to an audiobook, which is rare for me because I like to actually feel the book and read. So I don't remember much of what, the Book of Nod, I don't remember much of what I heard. So I really honestly don't care, but I will have to get that book and read it. So I actually found a bunch of stuff on Tubal Cain, which was started by Robert Cochran, who I really like, and the book, Witchy, that's the one. I think it's by, I don't know who it's by, Shanti Oates. Tubal Cain. So it's a really good book. So I actually found a bunch of information on it, the bloodline of Cain. So it's all here. So here we go. Part, I don't know, like what, 50 now of traditional witchcraft. So alright, so the clan of Tubal Cain in influential witch mystery tradition founded by Robert Cochran in England in the 1950s. So it's kind of like, it's just about as old as Wicca. I don't like that. So the clan of Tubal Cain, and after the legendary Hebrew blacksmith Tubal Cain, obviously, was never intended by Cochran to become a religion. So its concepts were passed to America in the 1734 tradition, and were also absorbed into the Roebuck tradition and ancient Celtic church. I like that kind, I think. It goes back older than that. It's way older than that. So, but Cochran, who claimed to come from a long line of hereditary witches, worked for a while as a blacksmith and also lived on a canal boat. So the clan had its roots in its own family tradition, as well as in the folklore he absorbed from blacksmithing and canal life. Canal life. There, canal. So Cochran viewed witchcraft as a mystery tradition, not a fertility religion. That's what Wicca is, all about the fertility and all that good stuff. So, the heart of his views was expressed in an anonymous article he wrote for Psychic News on November 8th of 1963, entitled "Genuine Witchcraft is Defended." So Cochran said that he was tired of triads, whatever you want to call it, against real witchcraft written by uninformed journalists. He requested anonymity because of his wife and small son. So excerpts from the letter are, "I am a witch descended from a family of witches. Genuine witchcraft is not paganism, though it retains the memory of ancient faiths. So it is a religion, mystical in approach and in attitudes. So it is the last real mystery cult to survive, with a very complex and evolved philosophy that has strong affinities with many Christian beliefs. So the concept of a sacrificial god was not new to the ancient world. It is not new to a witch. So mysticism knows no boundaries. So the genuine witch is a mystic at heart." Oh, I love mysticism. "Much of the teaching of witchcraft is subtle and bound with potential concept rather than hard logic." So he says, "I came from an old witch family. My mother told me of things that had been told to her grandmother by her grandmother. So I have two ancestors who died by hanging for the practice of witchcraft. The desire for power may have been the motive behind the persecution of witches." That's interesting. I would love to see go back further in my family tree and see what I can find just besides Vlad. So, Cochran explains, though, that during the Crusades in the 13th and 14th centuries, Islamic ideas infiltrated witch covens, and witches were members of the upper classes as well as the lower. So one basic tenet of witch psychological gray magic is that your opponent should never be allowed to confirm an opinion about you, but should always remain undecided. This gives you a greater power over him, because the undecided is always the weaker. From this attitude, much confusion has probably sprung in the long path of history. So Cochran then explains that witches are not part of a premature spiritualist movement, and they are not concerned primarily with messages or morality from the dead. Well, I do, so yeah. So witchcraft, is concerned with the action of God and gods upon man, and man's position spiritually. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm mystic. I'm very mystic. I'm mysticism. I love mysticism, but I love channeling. So I don't know. But Cochran preferred the term coven. Term clan to coven. Okay, so he preferred clan over coven, and he openly despised Gerald B. Gardner and his followers. Oh, I love you, Robert Cochran. So the structure of the clan was loose. Rituals, which were shamanic in nature, were conceived as Cochran went along. Inner planes, contacts, and alignment with natural forces formed the basis of magical workings. The clan worshipped the goddess and horn god and conducted rituals outdoors when possible, dressed in black-hooded robes. The clan observed the same Sabbats and Esbats as Gardnerian, and Alexandrian traditions, the dormant ones of the time. So principal working tools were a stang, a forked staff that represented the horn god, a cauldron for the goddess, a cup made of horn, a cord, and a whetstone. So there was only 1 degree of initiation. So Cochran liked to use herbal psychedelics as a part of his own practice. It is not known how many of the clan followed suit. The sacred contents of the cauldron were the aqua vitae, the waters of life, laced with agaric or peyote. Alright, so yes. Yeah. You could do, Damiana. Make a tea. It's just, yeah. It's less, it's legal. So the clan was never big. Now, when Doreen Valentine was initiated into it in 1964, members included Cochran as a magister and his wife Jane and 3 men. A woman member had recently left, so 2 women joined later. But in the 1960s, Cochran began writing articles for the Pentagram, a short-lived publication. The Pentagram attracted the attention of an American witch named Jo Wilson, who placed an advertisement in it asking for correspondence from interested parties. So Cochran responded, and the 2 exchanged numerous letters for about 6 months, until Cochran's death by apparent ritual suicide at the summer solstice in 1966. Wow, ritual suicide? Ooh, that's not cool. So, in his first letter to Wilson, dated December 20th, 1965, Cochran asked if Wilson understood the meaning of 1734. It was not a date, but a grouping of numerals that means something to a witch, he said. He explained that the 1734 is the witch way of saying Yod-He-Vav-He, the Tetragrammaton, or the holiest names of God. So 1 becomes 7 states of wisdom represented by the goddess of the cauldron. So there are the queens of the elements, water, air, and earth, and then fire belongs to men. So, and the 4 are the queens, and 4 are the queens of the wind gods. So Cochran believed that America had the right mystical underpinnings. The stars on the American flag are pentagrams, he pointed out, and he liked the rapport with Wilson. So he transmitted his philosophy and some of his rituals in his letters. So Cochran was fond of teaching in riddles, poems, dream images, and mysteries. There is no hard and fast teaching technique, no laid down scripture or law, for wisdom comes only to those who deserve it, and your teacher is yourself, seen through a mirror darkly, he told Wilson. He signed many of his letters, flags, flax, and fodder, which he translated as a blessing by water, air, and earth. I like him. I like this guy. He's very good. So toward the end of his life, Cochran wrote a witch's code of ethics. So, do not do what you desire. Do what is necessary. Take all you are given. Give all of yourself. What I have, I hold. When all is lost, and not until then, prepare to die with dignity. and return to the womb of the dark goddess to give life another try until the wheel of rebirth is finally broken. Alright. It's kind of interesting. So after Cochran's death, Wilson founded the 1734 tradition. So in 1969, he traveled to England while enlisted in the U.S. Air Force and was able to meet some of Cochran's clan members. Now, in the 1734 tradition is a family of covens with roots of the clan of Tubal Cain, so integrated with the teachings and ideas of other streams of Wicca and paganism. Wicca. It does not have an initiation lineage by authority one can join without being initiated by an elder. Wilson died in 2004. So, now in 1976, Americans David and Ann Finnan founded the Roebuck tradition based on the 1734 tradition. In 1982, English magician William S. Gray, a friend of Cochran's, put the Finnans in touch with Evan John Jones, one of the original clan members. So the Finnans served a 2-year apprenticeship with Jones and were adopted into the clan with the power to carry to America. Now in 1989, the Roebuck incorporated as the Ancient Celtic Church, based in Toowoomba, California. So that's pretty interesting. That is really interesting. I love the whole idea. That's really interesting. A little bit of history just behind the Tubal Cain. So the clan of Tubal Cain. So I love it. Last night, me and my assistant, we were talking about witch marks and the bloodline. And she was actually born with what is it? If you're born with the sack still around your head, that's like a sign of the witch's mark. So I actually literally looked all over my body and I found a really, really odd birthmark, and it actually is in the sign of a star. When I hold my arm like this, literally a star or an eagle arm cross, I'm not sure, and you can't see it. It's too faint, but it's very different. And then I was thinking about just different birthmarks I've seen throughout my family, and it was kind of strange just to know that one of my uncles has right on the side of his head when he shaves it. It's like a birthmark, and it literally looks like 666 kinda mixed in. So it's very different, kind of like the Google Chrome symbol. So you can kind of just make out 3 faint 6s. So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, it was just cool to kind of just talk about that and see, what my grandma would have left for me, working tools and just the knowledge and just all that stuff. So. But yeah, I like it. I think it's interesting, very interesting. So, but alright guys, I hope you guys have a great day. Happy Witchy Wednesday. I love you all very much. Thank you guys for watching. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. So, I love you all, and everybody have a good day.